Time. My name is Divina Shay, and today we're going to be reading out of our My Creative Bible. I do have a coloring update for you guys today. It reads, "If ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people." That is Exodus chapter 19, verse 5. Now, this is very relevant to us in our readings because we have been talking a lot about that, about being obedient to God and, listening to Him when He says that we got to do something, even if we don't want to do it. I have definitely learned that the hard way. But anyway, so we are on Exodus chapter 38, and it starts off with the altar of burnt offering. "And he made the altar of burnt offering of shittim wood. 5 cubits was the length thereof, and 5 cubits the breadth thereof. It was 4 square, and 3 cubits of the height thereof. And he made the horns thereof on the 4 corners of it. The horns thereof were of the same, and he overlaid it with brass. And he made all the vessels of the altar, the pots and the shovels, and the basins, and the flesh hooks, and the fire pans. All the vessels thereof made he of brass. And he made for the altar a brazen grate of network under the compass thereof beneath unto the midst of it. And he cast 4 rings for the 4 ends of the grate of brass to be places for the staves. And he made the staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with brass. And he put the staves into the rings on the sides of the altar to bear it withal. He made the altar hollow with boards. And he made the laver of brass, and the foot of it of brass, and the looking glasses of the women assembling, which assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation." All right, so what is the burnt offering altar made out of? A lot of brass and wood. Anyway, so the next part is the court. "And he made the court on the south side, southward. The hangings of the court were of fine twined linen, and 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their brazen sockets 20. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver. And for the north side the hangings were 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their sockets of brass 20, and the hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And for the west side were hangings of 50 cubits. Their pillars 10, and their sockets 10. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And for the east side eastward 50 cubits. The hangings of the one side of the grate were 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And for the other side of the court gate on this hand and that hand were hangings of 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. All the hangings of the court round about were of fine twined linen, and the sockets of the pillars were of brass, and the hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver, and the overlaying of their chapiters of silver, and all the pillars of the court were filleted with silver. And the hanging for the gate of the court was needlework of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, and 20 cubits was the length, and the height and the breadth was 5 cubits, answerable to the hangings of the court. And their pillars were 4, and their sockets of brass 4, their hooks of silver, and the overlaying of their chapiters and their fillets of silver. And all the pins of the tabernacle and the court round about were of brass." So, now we've built the court of the tabernacle. And once again, we got a lot of fine twined linen, the same colors, purple, scarlet, blue. We got some silver thrown in there this time. And of course, brass. Did I say brass already? There's a lot of brass going on. The people's offering is the next section. "This is the sum of the tabernacle, even of the tabernacle of testimony, as it was counted according to the commandment of Moses, for the service of the Levites by the hand of Ithamar, son to Aaron the priest. And Bezaleel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, and of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord commanded Moses. And with him was Oholiab, son of Ashimach, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and a cunning workman, and an embroiderer in blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen. All the gold that was occupied for the work and all the work of the holy place, even the gold of the offering, was 29 talents and 730 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And the silver of them that were numbered of the congregation was 100 talents and 1,703 score and 15 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. A bekah for every man, that is half a shekel, after the shekel of the sanctuary, for every one that went to be numbered from 20 years old and upward, for 600,000 and 3,550 men. And of the 100 talents of silver were cast the sockets of the sanctuary, and the sockets of the veil, 100 sockets of 100 talents, a talent for a socket. And of 1,775 shekels he made hooks for the pillars, and overlaid their chapitiers and filleted them. And the brass of the offering was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. And therewith he made the sockets to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the brazen altar, and the brazen grate for it, and all the vessels of the altar. And the sockets of the court round about, and the sockets of the court gate, and all the pins of the tabernacle, and all the pins of the court round about. And that is the end of the chapter. So based on my understanding, we are finally done building the tabernacle, and the men that God had anointed with the understanding of how he wanted it built and the skills that were required to have them built, they finished their job. And then the people had so much silver and gold that they offered up. Plenty of it went into the making of this tabernacle. And yeah, that is the end. So really, like, what can we talk about, right? Because we're just talking about the building of the tabernacle, and I highly doubt anybody who watches this video is taking notes so that they can go build said tabernacle. But basically what we can really focus on is just obedience, obedience, obedience. I mean, I can't say this enough, right? When, like the verse said that was highlighted in our coloring portion today, if you obey the Lord, you will be a treasure unto him, you know, because that's what he needs. And right now, with the world being as crazy as it is, God needs strong warriors. There's no room to be lukewarm anymore. You have to go forth and be the warrior that God needs us to be. So I want to share something with you guys since we're talking about obedience. I just came back from vacation with my family, hence why I've been away a little bit. I haven't posted in a little bit, but I'm actually wearing the shirt that I bought on vacation, and it says, "You are my light. I'll walk by faith and not by sight." Let me tell you. Well, first of all, I got this shirt at Sight and Sound Theaters. We watched the production Queen Esther, and it was beautiful. And when she said this in the play, I cried. You know, because God has really moved in my life in recent times. And so this was just God speaking to me again, as he has been for a while now. And so, backtracking a little bit before we went on this vacation, I was not sure about the place that we had originally picked. We actually weren't supposed to go to Branson, Missouri, which is where this theater is located, this specific one. Anyway, there is another one in Pennsylvania. But I asked God to show me, or to tell me, really. I needed direct confirmation. I was like, God, if this is not the right place for us to be going, can you please tell me? And then he did. I prayed this right before I went to sleep. And then when I went to sleep, I had this dream, crazy dream, but the most important parts that I'll depict for you were that I was throwing a party at my house, and there was this albino at the party, and a lady came up to me from the party and said, "Hey, I really want to dance with the albino." I said, "Sure, I'll take you over." The albino was getting ready to dance with another woman, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were already about to dance, you know, that's fine." And he was like, "No, it's okay. I will dance with her instead." So that was the first switching, if you get me, that was happening in my dream. And then fast forward to the end of my dream, I'm looking at a table, and there are chairs at the table. And I just start switching around the chairs for no really apparent reason in my dream, but I started switching around the chairs. And that was when I woke up. So I felt that that was a very clear message that I was to switch my plans, you know what I mean? And so I did. And that's when we ended up going to Branson, Missouri, and I felt like God really spoke to me throughout the trip. You know, when I saw this production, the main message was that God's hand is in everything, everything that he's doing in your life, all the little pieces, they're all going to add up to something big. You know what I mean? Everything that he's doing in your life is to mold you for the purpose that he has laid out for you. And he has already destined what your purpose is before you even know what it is, So I feel like it was just like a reassurance to me, because I had been feeling like I had been running out of steam here recently and hadn't been feeling as motivated to seek the word and to seek God. And so I really feel like this trip, rather than it be, just like, oh, just a fun vacation or whatever, it was really like a reinforcement of like, God's like, hey, I see you, I have a plan for you, but you have to keep going. You can't give up. So I'm now imparting that on you. But yeah, so, I hope that whatever God's doing in your life, even if you're going through something tough right now, just know that it's all part of the bigger plan. But yeah, so that's what I'll leave you with, and let's go ahead and close out with prayer. Dear Lord, I thank you so much for your guidance, for the Holy Spirit that is within all of us, that is there to guide us, to make sure that we make the right decisions and take the right roads. Without your guidance, dear Lord, my vacation would have been totally different. So I really, really appreciate your guidance in my life. Dear Lord, thank you for your word, that we, maybe not everybody that watches this video, but that I live in a country where I am not persecuted for having this book with me, and that I am able to open it freely and read and enjoy your word, dear Lord. And dear Lord, that may we all not miss the signs when you are trying to guide us, that we may all be opening our eyes and our spiritual ears, that we may hear and see what it is that you want from us, dear Lord, that we may be the best Christians that we can be, dear Lord. Yes, we won't be perfect, but that we will try and that we will do our best not to fall back into willful sin. Thank you, dear Lord, for our blessings now and our future blessings, and for the plan that you have destined for us. Amen. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Oh, I'll fight.